Shalom people, this is Brother Laos coming at you with another video. And I just want to talk briefly to you today about, is confession good for the soul? Is confession good for the soul? Here in the last few years, it's been a lot of revelation going on throughout the country, showing all the atrocities that they have committed against us as black people, as Hebrew people. Some of them have been out there, you know, but it just wasn't publicized across the world as they are now, like the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre and the Elaine, Arkansas massacre, Wilmington insurrection, race riots. It just seems like here lately it's really been broadcast out, and what it seems like to some people is that these people are finally confessing to their crimes against us, and supposedly this is supposed to heal the nation. But I see something different. I don't really see this as a confession of wrongdoing. I see it as a smokescreen. You can see it in the language that they use sometimes when they bring up these atrocities. They use certain language that will alleviate them of culpability for financial restitution, namely reparations. And they always speak in it in the terms of, this is something that happened in the past and it's not happening now. We're better than this. See all this different language that they use to make you think that this can never happen to us again. When we look on the television news and see something to the contrary, we see that the economic plight in many ways for us is worse than some of those times that the atrocities happened. Because when Black Wall Street was burnt down, the people were doing good. When Elaine, Arkansas was stolen from the people, and Rosewood, our people were doing good overall. We were coming up, we were coming out. But that's not the case now. Our plight is worse. We were set back with each one of those atrocities, but they make it seem like, okay, that happened in the past, never happened again. What more do you want us to do? We stated that it happened. No, we need to investigate it deeper. We need to know how much land was lost, how many actual lives was lost, how many bank accounts was stolen, how many personal articles were stolen, how many actual mutilations of black people's bodies was done, all this kind of stuff. This needs to be brought out, but it's kind of a cursory confession. It's not total. It's to get us off their back and then move on to the next thing. But this is why I'm so glad that the people of Evanston, Illinois said, no, we're not gonna take those reparations that you're giving, because they're not even really reparations, they're just programs. And we got enough programs that we have that have been manipulated and mutilated to where they don't even really overall benefit us. And now they've opened the door for so many other people to get in that there's not even a benefit to us. So no, this is not no confession. This is not revealing the true soul of this nation. The true soul of this nation is to hide, is to bury, is to deflect, which is what they did with the Indians. Once they got through with them, they threw them on the reservations and said, look, you don't have to pay no taxes. You got this free land. You can do what you want. We even gonna build some casinos on your land and let you get some money. But then we're gonna put alcohol on the reservations and let you drink yourself into oblivion. And plus, we're gonna pack the council with these $5 Indian people that's gonna make things worse. And so no, this is not, this what they call confession. It's not confession. And it's not good for the soul of this nation, because it's gonna be used by the Most High when he judges this nation, that they had a chance to do right and they didn't. As we look at the thing that's going on with the Tulsa, Oklahoma thing, and even the fact of how the Tulsa, you got the not Tulsa, but you got the Oklahoma National Guard, which contributed to the massacre. Sending their representative, who is a black man. He's a black man. He's the commanding general of the Oklahoma National Guard. Yes, he confessed to a certain extent, but nothing that will make the Oklahoma National Guard and the state of Oklahoma liable for what happened, not just during the massacre, where they were the ones that was flying the planes and dropping the dynamite on Tulsa, but also after, when they put the black people in concentration camps. And then he got up there, I think his name was Major General Michael Thompson. Then he got up there and talked about the black man who had all this done to him, and he had to run. One of the last two survivors, Sergeant, I can't think of his name, but how he went in the military after joining the Army, World War II, and came back and still faced discrimination after the Tulsa. That was, to me, and I understand their mentality. Their mentality back then was, you know, we got to live, we got to do what we can do, we got to move on or we're gonna die. So we can't cry over spilled milk. But this empowers the demons. This empowers, you know, the spirit of this country, which is to kill, steal, and destroy. And to run that kind of story is to make it seem like we enjoy the abuse. That no matter how much you slap us and do us, steal from us, kill from us, rape us, or whatever, that yeah, we're gonna keep coming back to you and keep trying to get you to like us. And that just really infuriated me when he said that. So no, confession, this is not no confession. This is not no confession, and they're not recalcitrant at all. They're not recalcitrant for what happened to us, and our people must wake up. Our people must wake up, because just for Biden saying a few things and some business leaders saying some things or whatever, some mayors and some congressmen and congresswomen saying some things, we'll take our foot off the gas and we'll start crying and say, oh, confession is good for the soul. They're so sorry for what they did. And then they'll come back later and say, if you listen to the language, we really didn't confess to or whatever. We didn't specify times, dates, places. We did not put ourselves in a place of liability to you, that we are gonna right the wrong. The right to us was apology, and that should be good. But if not, the stuff was not talked in the light that it was. It was not talked in the world-changing things that happen, because these things happen, because these different atrocities and stuff These things change things. This changed the landscape of this nation. The monies that were stolen, the properties that were stolen, the wealth that was stopped, that was being built up by black people, that ceased. Not to mention the racial terror that was passed down from generation to generation that caused our people not to want to speak up because they seen what happened when you would try to defend yourself. Therefore, these Bill of Rights that a lot of our people ignorantly sometimes went off to war and came back thinking that because I fought for this country and this Bill of Rights that it applies to me is just crazy. So no, I don't believe that their confession was a confession of what they're doing now. I think more than likely somewhere in the heavenlies, this has to do with the Most High causing these things to be revealed. So they're trying to get out in front of them by giving some cursory things that they're gonna say. But in the end, the actions is not gonna speak to what actually happened. Their actions toward us is not gonna speak to the things that they need to do in order to make it. They might give us something. They may give us a flag. They might give us a motto. They might give us a couple of television specials, some monuments. But real earth-changing change, like what happened when the stuff happened to our people, it was earth-changing. It was earth-changing. Think about after slavery. If our people would have actually thought that they were going to be afforded to live in this country in such a way, if they would have known all the atrocities and stuff was going to happen to them after slavery, I do believe it would have been more of a concerted effort to get us out of this nation and into Africa. In fact, when you look at Marcus Garvey, the Garveyites, you know, and the fact that W.E.B. Du Bois and others were still fighting to keep us here or whatever, would more people have sided with the Garveyites and said, no, we got to get out of here. We got to get out of there. They would have got out even before Marcus Garvey would have stood up and said what he did, because they would have known, nah, this is not going to work. Every gain that we make is going to be burnt down. And we can see that. Now, we understand some of this falls under Deuteronomy 28 curses. We understand that. But the Bible said that in the lands of our captivity, that our oppressors, even though he had rose them up to punish us, there's many scriptures in there that talks about how the enemy would go too far, that he would go above and beyond what the Most High had allowed them to do. In many cases, these atrocities were above and beyond, you know. And so I think that we definitely need to be prayerful. We definitely don't need to be naive. We definitely not to get ourselves bought in and get all emotional and crying and stuff. They're confessing to their faults. They're confessing. Oh no, it's just good. Everything is gonna be good. Happy days is here again. We getting the jab. The pandemic is over. They're confessing to what they did. Oh man, this country is changing. Be not deceived. Yah is not mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, he shall also reap. They have not reaped for the wrongdoing they have done to our people. We, on the other hand, when we do evil, the Most High make us reap almost instantaneously, because we his people. We his people, and we're not bastards. That's why he punishes us right away, right off the bat. These people have been given chance after chance after chance after chance after chance after chance after chance. And more as the Most High allows more and more stuff to be revealed, we're going to find out there's more cities that was erased off the map. More of us that was killed. More, man, they haven't even dealt with the devil's punch bowl. They haven't and I'm gonna say punch bowls, because I believe it was more than one. And this stuff is stuff that happened almost at the end of the Civil War and during the end of the Civil War. These camps that they placed our people in to keep them from roaming from place to place, like the one down in Mississippi. I want to say was it Natchez or Yazoo, and let them die of starvation and cholera. That it could probably be thousands and thousands of people. They won't investigate that. No, they won't. They will not investigate that. See, it would take them. Most High knows how much time it would take for them to investigate, and that's not even get started with how many of us died during slavery. We don't even want to get started with that. You know, we don't want to get a accurate estimate, which they can do because they kept accurate records. We don't want to get an accurate record of how many of us actually died on their way over here across the Atlantic. We don't want to get an accurate record of that. And that's not even want to talk about what happened in the islands. We don't want to talk about what happened in the Caribbean island, where that slavery was way worse than slavery that we face here in America. We don't want to get started with that. And see, but this is what we have to be aware of when we see these people, even in Africa, where the Germans are confessing to the genocide, the Holocaust there in the Namibian desert, where they killed, they want to say it's tens of thousands. I believe it's 1 million, or maybe a little over 1 million, the Namibian people that died in concentration camps. And even the fact that these wicked people took bones back to Germany. And I didn't know that fact. And the Namibian people saying 1 billion, you better get out of here. $1 billion, you better get out of here. I don't blame them. Don't take it. Don't take it as a confession. Don't take it. These people know something. And if we let them get away with it, they know that the Most High is judging, and they realize if we can get these people to agree, if we can give them a little bit of money and they be in agreement, then the Most High will say, just like with Joshua. Now let's read if you get a chance, read in the book of Joshua, where the Gibeonites fooled Joshua them into making a covenant with them, because they had pretended that they was from a distant country, and they wanted to make peace with Israel and all this stuff. And even though they tricked Joshua them, because Joshua them gave them their word that they would protect them and that they had a league with them, the Most High said, I gotta honor that, and I'm not gonna do nothing to the Gibeonites. If we agree with these people, if we concede to their phony confession, which is not from the soul, then we'll let them off the hook. And the Most High could possibly say, you know what? Okay, let's start this 400 years over again, right? Let's not let them off the hook. They got to confess, just like we had to confess, just like we ain't had to suffer, just like we ain't had to go with lack and all these other, and we still lacking, so it shall be to them. No, it's not in our power to take vengeance on them, but then it's not in our power to also alleviate them of the responsibility. You see, some people say that vengeance is the Lord's. Yes, true. We cannot take vengeance against them for what they did in Oklahoma or the Namibian desert and the other places, but we don't have to let them off the hook. We don't have to agree with them and say, yeah, we accept your confession, your phony confession. We don't have to take your measly programs. When everybody else, you give money, you give checks continually. You're pouring millions and millions of dollars into the state of those that say that they are Yahudim but are not, but do lie. You're pouring millions of dollars into them every year, and programs of defense and all this other kind of stuff that you're giving, military aid. No, No. That's not accept their phony confession. That's not accepted. They're gonna have their chance. They had their chance over and over and over. So with that, I'd like you to leave a comment. I want you to give us a thumbs up, and I want you to subscribe. Be blessed.